Think about all the money that goes into BLM, Black Lives Matter, and it exists simply because people believe there is systemic racism in the police force. No. If anything, crime is racist because 13.4% of the United States population makes up 25% of the crimes that are committed. Insane. And so I'm sitting here, I'm watching it happen in real time. I'm like, they're not even trying to hide it from us anymore. Oh my God, it blows my mind, dude. So then I wake up the next morning and Facebook, gone. They deleted me completely. They were censoring me the very next day. The First Amendment is dead, you guys. The government has the technology to spread propaganda and misinformation like we've never seen in history. This is legit the Great Reset. It's happening right now. We deserve to know what's really going on. This is the Uncensored Truth. What's up, guys? It's Jeremy with the Uncensored Truth, the podcast where I try to free your minds from the grips of the mainstream media by giving you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the uncensored truth. Now, for starters, if this is your first time to this video series or podcast, please click that subscribe button, follow, like, whatever the heck it is, whatever type of platform you're seeing this or hearing this on. It's new, it's fresh, and your help will go a long way. So subscribe, like, follow, all that stuff. And also, one of the best things you can do is share. Please share this with everyone you know, friends, family, whatever. It's the best way to support the show, and I would greatly appreciate it. Now, again, only do it if you want to. Only do it if you enjoy it. Only do it if you somehow find value in this. Don't do it simply because I just said it. I want you to do it if you want to do it. That's really what it comes down to. It truly is the best way to support the show, so jump on board, open your eyes, and join the truth movement. So I know that I said most episodes are going to be me talking about the news and what's in the news and trying to break down why the mainstream media is reporting what they are, but today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm actually going to talk about what is not in the news. The mainstream media usually reports only the shit that's going to help their narrative. If there's a story out there and for some reason CNN and MSNBC do not pick it up, it's not because it's not newsworthy, it's because it doesn't help push their narrative. So today I want to talk about something that you haven't heard on the news. And shockingly, it's about COVID, but it's actually good news. So I'm sure you're aware of the fact that not all states have handled this crisis the same. And in fact, some states have handled it completely different. And really it comes down to whether you're a Democrat state or a Republican state. That is what has caused these differences. Unfortunately, just like everything else in the world, it's political. They've politicized it, and they're taking completely different approaches to how they're going to handle this crisis. I mean, take a look at places like New York and California versus places like Texas and Florida and even here in South Dakota. New York and California still shut down with mask mandates everywhere. Kids haven't been in school for over a year. Small businesses especially have been forced to shut down. And then you've got like Florida, Texas, and then places like here in South Dakota where we didn't do anything. Kids have been in school, businesses have been open, people have just been living their lives, and the mainstream media ate them alive, just talking about how they do not give a fuck about the people who live there, and they put their lives in danger by not taking on these same mandates like these other Democratic-run states. So of course you would think that the death toll and the number of people who have gotten sick in places like Florida are just off the charts. Like, the people are dropping dead left and right, especially the fact that Florida's got one of the oldest populations. But I guess the only way we're going to know this for sure is if we take a look at the data, not by watching the news. No, do not watch CNN or MSNBC. Look at the data. Look at the facts. Of course, I did some research here. I've got some information here, and I'm going to read a lot of it off because I want to make sure that I'm getting these numbers right. The last thing I want to do is to mislead you, to deceive you, or to just give you wrong information because it's dangerous. It really is. So here we go. According to the census, Florida, New York, and California are among the most populous states. Florida has one of the oldest populations. In fact, Florida has the largest portion of elderly residents with almost 4.5 million people aged 65 years and older. New York, California, they're among the youngest population. I think California is like the fifth youngest population in the United States. According to the CDC, people aged 65 to 84 years old are 1,100 to 2,800 times more likely to die from COVID-19 than those under the age of 18. Almost 21% of Florida's population is considered high risk for COVID-19 just based on age alone. This puts them at a much higher risk than places like New York and California. So let's see how they have done. Florida has had about 2 million cases of COVID-19, whereas California has had 3.6 million, and I believe New York was 1.9 million. So they've done as good, if not better, than these other states. Now, to compare accurately, we have to adjust for the population size in these states because obviously not all states are built equally. So to be able to get an accurate estimate, figure, and assessment, we're going to have to adjust for the population size of these states. Florida has 9,178 cases per 100,000 people, while New York alone has 9,560 cases per 100,000 people. New York State, excluding New York City, has had 8,944 cases per 100,000 people. New Jersey has had 9,749 cases per 100,000 people. So when we adjust for population, these places have all done almost identical. I mean, they've done pretty close to the same. So let's look at deaths here. Florida has had 32,778 deaths. California has had 57,744 deaths. New York has had 48,949 deaths. Again, we need to adjust this based off of population. So that puts Florida at 152 deaths per 100,000. New York City alone, 365 deaths per 100,000. New York State, excluding New York, 168 deaths. And New Jersey has 272 deaths per 100,000 people. So this just shows that no matter how many mandates and restrictions that places like New York and California have put into place, they still have done considerably worse. I mean, at least they haven't done better than places like Florida, who had hardly any restrictions at all. The truth is that the data shows that Florida's COVID-19 response has been better than that of these other democratically run states. Now, I'm not saying that simply because people had to wear masks. I'm saying, time to roll up my sleeves, motherfucker. No, I'm just joking. Not saying that simply because people had to wear masks. I'm saying that because of the overall quality of life in these states. Businesses stayed open. Kids were allowed to go to school. They just had it better. They had these similar outcomes without having to shut down businesses, without telling people they had to wear masks everywhere they went. They couldn't stand next to their loved ones. They had to lock themselves inside their houses for weeks, months at a time. And kids weren't allowed to go to school. They weren't allowed to see their friends and learn. The states like Florida, Texas, and South Dakota gave their residents a better quality of life during this crisis. It doesn't matter how many frickin' COVID stimulus checks you throw at them, it's not going to help. I mean, these people are missing out on real money, and you're throwing quarters at them, trying to cover up the fact that this was handled horribly in some states. I'm serious. I feel freaking sorry for the people that are in these states, and a lot of them know that it's bullshit. I mean, these people are leaving in drones. They're leaving quick as shit. They're going to places like South Dakota, Florida, Texas. They're getting the fuck out because they do not want to be there anymore. And I don't blame them, man. This sucks, but whatever. I mean, there's nothing really that I can do about it. I can give you the facts. I can give you the information so you can see what you're not seeing in the news because, again, the mainstream media doesn't give a fuck about that. They want you to hate Florida. They want you to hate the people who are running Florida. They want you to hate the people that are running Texas. They want to hold Cuomo up on a freaking pedestal and Anthony Fauci and what's his name, Gavin Newsom, they think these guys are fucking heroes, and they have destroyed people's lives. Like, this is the type of shit that's going to get me censored, and that's the last thing that I want to do. That's why I'm trying to stay away from my opinion, but just giving you the facts, because it's the truth. These things cannot be hidden, and And if I get censored, it's simply because of the fact that I'm telling you the shit that the mainstream media doesn't want to tell you. So, whatever. If that happens, then fuck them, man. I don't give a shit. But I can't not give you the truth, I guess. This happened to me last episode when I was talking about the fact that BLM could have potentially been built on lies. I got so worked up that I actually left out vital information. Actually, if you don't mind, I'm going to take this opportunity to clear up some stuff that I did cover on the last episode. Now, I know I used gun murders as a way to compare white people and black people being shot by the police when that was kind of the wrong way to go about doing it. Those are more like violent crimes, gun murders and robberies and stuff like that. What I should have done and would have been a more accurate way to actually portray this was to look at just the overall interactions that people have had with the police, the overall arrests. And I decided to do a little more research into that after last week's episode, and in doing so, I was able to find the actual statistics from 2019. So these are actual updated numbers and statistics, and it's going to be quite a bit more accurate, even though I came to the same conclusion. It's just going to be way more accurate than what I had last week. Now, I'm going to show a graphic from the Justice Department, Federal Bureau of Investigation's website, and it's going to show these figures from 2019. Again, last week I was giving you figures from 2017, so this is going to be a little more current, and it's going to explain in more detail as to why I believe this has all been built on lies. Anyways, what we should be looking at is the number of interactions that people have had with the police. And again, this is a graphic from the Justice Department FBI website that is going to show you the total amount of arrests that took place in 2019. As you can see, there were 6.8 million arrests in 2019. 1.8 million of those were by black people or African Americans. Sorry, I don't know what I'm supposed to say anymore because the world has gotten so fucking weird. But yes, there was 1.8 million arrests by black people, whatever. Either way, the argument is if black people make up 13.4% of the United States population, then why are they making up 25% of the people who are being shot and killed by the police every single year? That number should be 13.4%. Maybe because of the 6.8 million arrests that took place in 2019, 25% of those were black people. And again, a majority of them were armed or threatening the police in some way. So if you were putting yourself in a situation where you were interacting with the cops at a rate of 25%, then mathematically you are going to make up 25% of the people who are getting shot and killed by the police every single year. It's just math. It's not racism, it's not hate, it's not genocide, it's just middle school math. Black people are being shot by the police not because of racism, but because of chance, by probability. They are being shot by the police by the exact rate at which they are being arrested by the police. I don't know how many more ways I can say it. If 25% of the people who are getting arrested by the police are black, then roughly 25% of the people who are getting shot and killed by the police are probably going to be black. So when you say black people only make up 13.4% of the United States population, yet they make up 25% of the people who are shot and killed by the police, that just proves that there's systemic racism. I tell you, no. That doesn't mean that police are systemically racist. That means that, if anything, crime is racist. Because 13.4% of the United States population makes up 25% of the crimes that are committed. Therefore, we should see them make up 25% of the police shootings. Whatever. I don't know. I feel stupid because I keep repeating myself, but it's stupid that I even have to talk about this. People should know this stuff. Think about all the money that goes into BLM, Black Lives Matter. It's a multi-million-dollar organization, and it exists simply because people believe there is systemic racism in the police force. The mainstream media has painted this false picture of racism, and I'm not blaming black people. They legitimately believe that there is systemic racism by police, and it's because they turn on their news and they believe what they see. They probably haven't taken a look at these numbers and broke it down like I am for you now. They just look at the news and see cops murdering people on a genocidal level. And now you have millions and millions of dollars being poured into Black Lives Matter. And for what? That's like me starting a GoFundMe page for a child who has cancer, only the child doesn't have cancer, and there's no child at all. It's just fraudulent. Like there needs to be some type of an investigation. I can't call that shit, but I mean, somebody needs to look into this and figure out what the fuck is going on. That's a lot of fucking money. Businesses, sports organizations, politicians, whole cities and states pouring endless resources into this organization. But why, man? How did this whole thing happen? Like, who somebody needs to look into this and figure out who started this, how it even is possible that this could have happened, and somebody needs to be held accountable. Unfortunately, it's the mainstream media, and they are completely untouchable. They're the only people who are 100% off limits when it comes to freedom of speech, when it comes to censorship, when it comes to the Second Amendment. I will be censored because of this video, yet the mainstream media can create this fake crisis that costs millions and billions of dollars worth of damage last summer. Cities were shut down, businesses were destroyed, riots, protests, lives were lost, and cities were burned to the ground. And the mainstream media can report these lies every single day, and no one bats an eye. They don't even have to apologize. They will never take responsibility for what they have done. That's why I'm here, to give you the truth, to open your eyes to the mainstream media lies. And that's the same thing that they're doing with the coronavirus. They're pointing their finger at these cities and blaming them for lost lives, yet Florida handled the situation very well. South Dakota handled the situation very well. Kristi Noem, our governor here, she used to be a small town governor, and now she's actually one of the front runners, one of the favorites in the Republican Party to actually run for office in 2024. Yet you watch the mainstream media and you're going to hear that these people are murderers. They are responsible for the deaths of tens of thousands of people, when they actually have less blood on their hands than people like Gavin Newsom and Cuomo in New York, who is legitimately responsible for killing thousands of people at old folks' homes by putting COVID patients in these homes with extremely old people who are at a very high risk of dying from the coronavirus. They put people with the coronavirus in the homes with them. They used to look at this guy as a hero, and now they're finally starting to cover this in the mainstream media. It's just because of the fact that it's so hard to hide now. They actually have to start reporting on it. But months ago, this was looked at as conspiracy theory. The conspiracy theorists were crazy for saying this shit about Cuomo in New York, but now we were right. We were right all along. It tends to be a common theme. The conspiracy theorists talk about this stuff, and then they get censored for it. They get taken off of Facebook, YouTube, all these places. They get deplatformed for talking about this stuff. Then all of a sudden the mainstream media picks it up and they act like they're the good guys. Like it's a good thing somebody's covering the shit. And it's like the conspiracy theorists have been talking about this for a long time, yet we're the bad guys. We get deplatformed while the mainstream media can continue spewing these lies, these dangerous lies that are causing real damage. This is what happens, man. I get a little crazy. I did this last time, and it's just because you start going over this shit and I start talking about it, and I get heated. I lose my skull, but it's okay. I'm going to be fine, and we're going to get through this together, guys. Yeah. Once again, guys, please subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Mic Drop, Mildly Intelligent Conversations, and The Uncensored Truth. Subscribe to both of those channels, please. We're going to have content coming out on a regular basis. And then go to Satan's asshole. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to say Facebook. Go to Facebook and like our page. Mic Drop, Mildly Intelligent Conversations, and The Uncensored Truth. Please be nice. SoundCloud, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. That's where you can check out our podcasts. Mic Drop, Mildly Intelligent Conversations. Me and Eric. We're going to have one coming out here pretty soon. Promise. It's taken a while. It's hard to get together, man. We work together outside of this, and it's just we just it's hard to find the time to get it done, but we're going to do it. I promise. I think we're going to do it this week. So other than actually subscribing to the channel and following our shit and sharing it with your friends and family, another really good way that you can help support the channel is giving us $1. If you, I mean, again, I know this is hard times and it's really tough for that, but there's actually people out there who have a bunch of extra cash. And if you do and you enjoy the show, please help us out, man. Send us some money at PayPal, and it's going to be at Truth Hero on PayPal, not at PayPal, on PayPal, at Truth Hero. don't put yourself in a bad spot, man. I'm not asking you to give us money if you don't have money. Please don't. Take care of yourself. Don't worry about us. But if you've got extra cash and you're doing good, man, please help us out. That would be great. It helps us get better at what we're doing, get better equipment, and actually be able to do this more often. So, all right, that's all I got, guys. I swear to God. Thanks for checking the show out. Until the next time, keep your eyes open because there's some shit going on. See ya.